Do you wait for everything to be perfect and lined up straight before you make a choice? How hard are you trying to get everything in your life right? What if jumping in and getting messy is one of the ways to find out what works for you? Discover how being willing to mess up can create the phenomenal life you truly desire. Get ready to quit judging and start embracing all of your messy adventures. Now, here's your host, self-declared messy living expert, Petrina Fava.
Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, anywhere in the world. Welcome to Messy Adventures in Living. I am your host, Petrina Fava. Thank you so much for joining us today. If this is the first time you are listening to Messy Adventures in Living, here's a little bit about me and about the show. So I do a whole bunch of cool things in my life. I am a registered pediatric nurse in Toronto. I work at the Hospital for Sick Children here. I am also a mom of 3 great kids. They're 11 and 9 and 5.5. I'm an access consciousness bars and process facilitator. I'm best-selling author and radio show host. I also do some other cool things like teach families how to massage their babies. I teach massage classes, and I also create my own line of 100% natural body products called Naturally Happy Body, which you can find at petrinafava.com or naturallyhappybody.com. So check me out. There's probably something in there that you might like, considering I do a wide variety of different things. So, Messy Adventures in Living. This show is all about not getting anything right and not waiting for everything to be lined up straight and perfect, and jumping in and making choices, and then choosing after each choice. You can choose again and again and again. And what if you didn't have to wait for everything to be perfect and lined up straight before you began living? So today's show is all about bodies, and it's called Spring Out of Hiding Your Body. I have a great guest on. We're going to turn the tables a little bit. She's kind of going to be interviewing me today. So spring out of hiding your body. What is this about? Well, have you been hiding comfortably behind bulky sweaters and jackets all winter? Now that spring is here, so it's May the 2nd if you're listening to this in the future. Today's date is May the 2nd, so we're creeping up into spring. Now that spring is here, how much are you dreading removing all the layers and exposing your body shape to the world? If the thought of summer shorts and swimsuits has you thinking about spending summer in a dark cave, maybe it's time to quit judging your body and come out of hiding once and for all. Wouldn't it be wonderful to enjoy the sunshine and warmth on your bare skin without a care in the world? Are you waiting for your body to be perfect? And what if being vulnerable and allowing your body to be kissed by the earth is the change your body is begging for? So, my guest today is Susan Schatzer. She's a 4-time #1 best-selling author. She's an international facilitator for consciousness and has appeared on the Lifestyle Channel, LA 36, Can TV Chicago, Access Sacramento, as well as Women's Power Radio, Artist Hub, and iTunes. Susan's run a successful coaching business, is an international facilitator with Access Consciousness. As the CEO, From Creation to Cradle, she incorporates what she's learned through many diverse experiences to create programs that empower women before, during, and after pregnancy. Most recently, Susan has developed a dynamic quarterly global telecall series called Conscious Birthing and Beyond. These seasonal series feature untraditional topics, lots of participants with questions from around the world, and 7 dynamic mothers from multiple countries who facilitate the calls, one of which is me coming up in the spring. Well, next week. The fun, laughter, and awareness that are uncovered and discovered shock the group series. How can this one beginning this evening get even better? Hi, Susan.
Hi, Petrina. Yay. Thank you so much. What a beautiful introduction. We are going to have so much fun.
I know. Thanks for being on Messy Adventures in Living. And thank you for inviting me to be a speaker on the Conscious Birthing and Beyond series. I had a lot of fun the last time I was on, and I'm really looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, we are so excited. This series really picks its guest speakers, and it normally picks its topics. But this season, and this is our fourth one, so we're rolling into 1 year, it asked for each guest speaker to pick its own topic based on the subtitle of, Spring into the Creation, being spring, starting tonight. Tonight is the introduction, actually,
Right.
to the series, and it's free, so anyone is welcome to come join us. And I think I gave you a way for them to find it. Maybe not.
I can look for it.
If they would like to email me, directly, I can go ahead and get them the information. And it's just SusanSchatzer@gmail.com.
Okay. And it's all on Facebook right now, right? So if you probably could just search the event, right? So what exactly is the event called? Say it again on Facebook.
It's called Spring into the Creation of Your New Future. Yep.
Spring into the Creation of Your New Future. Yes, tonight, starting tonight. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, talking bodies today.
Yes, we are. We are talking bodies. So, tell me a little bit about when we shot out that topic to you, Spring into the Creation of, and left it blank. Tell us what came up for you with what you received with your title, and tell us what your title is.
Yeah, so my title is Spring Out of Hiding Your Body. Spring out of hiding your body. And when you asked me just a couple of days before that, I think I was driving. I was like in my car, and I had a thought that went, oh God, here comes summer. I have to wear shorts and bathing suits now. And I caught myself and I went, oh, that's interesting. And I really realized like how much I thought, isn't that interesting that I'm actually dreading? I love spring. I am not a winter girl. I like warm weather. But I was dreading the coming warm weather because it meant that I couldn't hide under my coat anymore. It meant that I couldn't like just throw my coat on over some crappy clothes and not have to comb my hair and put a hat on because it was winter, so I could just throw all that on while I went with my kids to school. It meant that I had to like expose my body more. So I really wanted to do this topic because I'm sure I'm not the only one in the world who's thinking this right now. And, I've been really looking a lot at judgment. And, I wrote a chapter in The Power of Releasing Judgment. We're co-authors in this book, Susan and I. And
yes,
there's something really cool about being an author and writing about a topic like releasing judgment is that it really it has ass because I'm like, hey, you wrote a chapter about releasing judgment. Hello. Time to step up, girlfriend. So I look at my book and I'm like, okay. All right, let's drop the judgment. So how many women are, and especially moms, right? So especially moms, like how much do moms judge their post-baby bodies? Like a ton. And I posted an image, I don't know if you saw it, for the show of...
Yeah, she's hiding behind like a shower curtain or a wall.
Oh, yeah, no, not that one. I posted one after in the discussion. It's an image of a woman before pregnancy, and she's got like this sexy bikini body, and she's like got this big smile on her face, and there's like guys looking at her and there's like hearts all around her, and then she's pregnant, and she's got this beautiful round belly, and the look on her face is no longer happy. It's just like this like straight line, straight lip, like, meh. And then there's a picture of her with her toddler in tow, so she's like holding her little toddler, and her body is like saggy, and she's wearing the same bikini, but her body's like all saggy, and her posture is very bent, and her face is very sad, and her hair is disheveled. And I saw that and I was like, wow, that's a really interesting point of view. And actually one of my thoughts was, who posts this shit? Like, why do we post? Why do we do this? Like, who created this, and why do we put it all over the internet? You know, like, so much judgment, especially with moms after their babies are born. So yeah, that's where that all comes
Yeah. Yeah, and it was so interesting because when you picked the topic, tons of things flooded in for me as well. I'm like, okay, so I need to start moisturizing. I better shave.
Right.
in larger areas than normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like getting ready for, you know what I mean, like your roots, because you can't wear a hat, you know, anymore.
Yeah.
And I live in Florida, so it is really warm for a lot of the year. And
nice.
There's not a whole lot of hiding that can take place. And I was thinking about, you know, what if it's not just us, Petrina? Like how many other people, men and women around the world, are thinking about the same thing with their bodies?
Yeah, and men and women, and thank you for saying that, because I feel like we really sometimes tend to exclude guys, and I'm sure there's a lot of men who have this going on as well. Yeah. There's a question in the chat room, Eleanor. So Eleanor says, is there another way to come out other than springing out? Can I come out a little at a time? I love that. That's hilarious. Sure, Eleanor, you can come out a little at a time. It might be more fun if you just sprung out and got messy. But so yeah, I guess what does it like really mean, springing out of hiding? Like, so for me, I'm really aware of I've become aware of, how do I put this in words? So a little bit of background. So I have 3 kids, and after my first 2 children were born, my daughters, my body actually didn't change a lot after my girls were born. I gained quite a bit of weight during the pregnancy, but I actually lost it, and my body returned to its pre-pregnancy state pretty easily. And actually, after my second daughter, I continued to lose weight. I was actually smaller than I was when I even got married. And I loved this. I was excited. I wasn't doing anything. I was not a girl who was working out before. It just kind of happened by itself. And then with my son, that didn't happen. So I've actually gained probably like 40 pounds since my son was born. And I'm at the heaviest I've ever been. And I'm not a big girl, right? Like I'm 5'2", barely. And so for me, it's been a lot. I've had a lot of struggle around like trying to be grateful for my body and not judge my body, although my body is not. It's not comfortable. I'm not comfortable at this weight. So I've tried to do what Eleanor was just saying, is I've tried to like come out slowly, but for me it was a resistance. It wasn't that I was really trying to spring out of hiding slowly. I was resisting actually coming out of hiding. And that's a really different energy, right? Like resisting.
Yes.
And going slowly and going one step at a time. Resisting or hiding is such a different energy.
And so what happens?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you judge your body,
right?
Petrina, and when we judge our bodies, like when we look in the mirror and we go, "Oh, there are my thighs. There's my mother's hips. There's my, grandmother's, feet. Whatever it happens to be."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think whatever we judge, we actually get more of. And so if you're judging that your body is fat, your body's listening and your body's going, "Oh, we're fat? Okay, cool, here's more." Your body tends to listen to all of your thoughts and your projections and your judgments, and it doesn't discern. So it just creates more of what you're judging it as. So, looking in the mirror and telling yourself you're fat, or judging yourself as fat or saggy or old or wrinkly or whatever it is for you, and it doesn't actually create change. It actually creates more of what you're judging. Yeah.
So is there a question that we could ask that would possibly shift and change that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. If we're So these are tools that come from a modality called Access Consciousness, and for anyone who doesn't know, you can look up accessconsciousness.com, and it's a modality that really shows you how asking questions can change something in your life rather than coming to conclusion or rather than judging. And there's a tool called Interesting Point of View, and there's another one called Who Does This Belong To? And these are tools that we can use to shift this, to come out of judgment of our bodies and actually create a change. We are actually just going to go to break. So let's go to break, and when we come back, I can finish talking about that. So you're listening to Messy Adventures in Living. We're talking about spring out of hiding your body today. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some tools you can use to come out of judgment of your body and into creating and enjoying your body. You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living. Don't go anywhere on a2zen.fm. We'll be back soon.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on a2zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
Are you driving with the engine warning light on when it comes to listening to your body? Pull over and come to a 3-day body class with Juna Guder. Is now the time for learning the language of your body? Is now the time to change what isn't working? Now is the time. Juna will be in Toronto and Europe in May, facilitating the 3-day body classes and the Right Body for You taster classes. Is your body asking for this? Take action and register now on the accessconsciousness.com website.
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more Messy Adventures.
Welcome back to Messy Adventures in Living. I'm your host, Petrina Fava, and today I am joined by my guest, Susan Schatzer. We are talking stepping out of hiding your body. We're turning the tables a bit today. Susan's interviewing me a little bit. I'm a guest on a series called Conscious. Oh, why? What, sorry, Susan. There's just something about this title that can never come out of my mouth. Okay, you say it. Conscious?
You would like for me to say spring
yes,
out of hide?
No. The series. Yeah.
Oh, spring into the creation of your new future.
That's the one. Springing into the creation of your new future. It's a series that starts tonight. Okay, so before we went to break,
and your
yes.
call is your new future body.
Right. My call is on the 9th, May the 9th, and it's about creating your body instead of hiding your body and stepping out of hiding and creating something different with your body. So before we went to break, you asked me about how can we change judgment of our bodies.
Yeah.
And so, started to talk about these two tools from a modality called Access Consciousness. and that I think are great ways to start. So one of them is a question that goes, who does this belong to? And the other one is a tool called Interesting Point of View. So there's a great quote from a man named Gary Douglas, who's actually the founder of this modality, Access Consciousness, that I saw it posted on Facebook as a meme, like with an image, and it really kind of just, it was, when you're something and it makes your arms tingle. It goes like this: your body doesn't exist. It is created moment to moment by your point of view. Your body doesn't exist. It is created moment to moment by your point of view. Oh my God, I read that. I was like, oh, do you get that? Like, it sounds really metaphysical and really like woo-woo. But, what if truly your body doesn't exist? It only exists, it changes, or it exists moment to moment by your point of view. What if you create your body by your point of view?
That is the key to the kingdom, don't you think, Petrina?
I think so. So that's where, right? Like, what if we could create our body moment to moment by our point of view? How much of our point of view would we have to change? So interesting point of view is a tool. It's just something that you can say with every thought or emotion that comes up for you. You can just say, interesting point of view, that I have this point of view. And the idea is that when you have no point of view, when you don't align and agree or resist and react to one side or the other, then you can have awareness of what really is true. So if you have the point of view that you're fat, or if you have the point of view that your body is going to change after you have a baby, or if you have the point of view that you're turning 60, so now you're going to be wrinkly and saggy, this is what gets created. So every time you have this point of view, like when I was in my car and I thought, oh, that sucks that the spring is coming, like I have to take some clothes off now. I could just go, wow, interesting point of view that I have that. Right? Like, oh, that's interesting, which I kind of did. I was like, wow.
And tomorrow I'll be driving to work naked.
Hey, that's a way to do it. That's a way of jumping in and not doing
really
it a little bit at a time. Yeah. You might get some stares, but hey, you might get pulled over by a sexy police officer. But hey, you never know what that could create too, right?
Does it get even better than that?
How does it? So, if you could see everything as just an interesting point of view, then it's a start, because it takes the judgment off of it, it takes the polarity off of it, and it's just interesting. Something that I heard a lot as a kid was anytime we were on the beach, and I mean, I live in Toronto, so there's not that many beaches, so you might relate to beaches a lot more being in Florida, Susan. But
yes.
Have you ever heard people say or look at someone like a woman in a bikini who doesn't have a, quote unquote perfect by this reality body and go, oh, like she shouldn't be wearing a bikini. Like anybody who has that body should really not wear a bikini.
Yes. Out loud.
Loud. Or I remember
not even to themselves.
Yeah. Or like topless beaches or nude beaches. Like I remember hearing, oh, like, at that age, you really shouldn't be walking around topless. Like, give me a break. Who wants to see those saggy breasts? And, that is a point of view. And then,
right.
Because whose point of view is that anyways? Which leads me into really the other tool, which is, who does this even belong to? So, and the idea behind this tool is really awesome. It's the idea that we're actually extremely psychic and aware of other people's thoughts. And when you ask who does this belong to, you're acknowledging that, most of your thoughts and feelings and emotions are not even yours. They're picking them up, like actually literally picking them up psychically from someone else. Or you bought it. You bought someone else's point of view. So a lot of times we buy points of view about bodies from the media, or maybe from our parents or our friends, and then we just start owning them. and we buy them as ours.
Yes.
Right? So like, well, my breasts are saggy now, so I can't go to a topless beach because who wants to see that? Is that really mine? Like, do I care if breasts are saggy? Like, do I like being topless? Does my body enjoy it? Whose point of view is that?
That is so cool. So tell me, why do you think that people judge their bodies so harshly?
That's a cool question. I think that I think judgment is so normal in this reality. When I started playing with the tools of access and we really started looking, one of the keys to freedom, they're called, is no judgment. And I thought I knew all the places where I was judging, either myself or other people. But as I look at this more and more and more, I started to realize how much judgment is woven into the fabric of our lives, so much that we don't even notice it. And we don't even consider that it's judgment half the time. So that's one thing. Like, it's just so part of our very being and so much a part of this reality and so normal that people don't even think twice about it. Like, of course we judge. I mean, that's just what we do, right? And sometimes It's not even overt judgment. Like, it's not even the kind that you recognize right away. Like, oh, that woman shouldn't, look at her. She's so fat. Why is she wearing a bikini? Like, that's a really obvious kind of blatant judgment. Sometimes judgment's really sneaky. And sometimes judgments are not always the negative things or the negative thoughts. Sometimes judgments can be the, what we call positive ones too. So, you're great. It's good to be fit and have, a nice, thin, lean body. I mean, really, that's a judgment. It's not a question. It's a conclusion. And it doesn't necessarily create greater. And then the other thing I think too, which is huge, has been huge in my universe anyways, is that we really use judgment as motivation. Or we think that judgment is a good way to change something that's happening.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I have used judgment as motivation a lot in my life. I would look at something that I was doing and that I wanted to change or that I didn't like, and I would judge myself for it. I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, look at how awful, I'm terrible. Come on. Like, pull up your straps and let's get going. Like, I really use judgment to motivate myself out of something that I thought needed to change.
So can I ask you a question, Petrina? Mm-hmm. Does it sort of come up for you? It's like, okay, so something's wrong here and I've got to fix it.
Yes, exactly. And that's the underlying assumption when you use judgment. Yeah. When you use it to change something, you already decided that it's wrong. And, judgment, if you're judging it, you can't change it. And if you have decided that something is wrong, then it's very difficult to change because you can't see maybe where it can be a gift or where parts of it is a gift. If you've already decided that you're broken or that you need to be fixed, then it's really hard to change that from that space. It's much easier to change something from a space of interesting point of view and maybe gratitude for your body than it is to change it from this contracted, like if you think about judgment and what that does to your body, like it's not expansive, it's not spacious, it's not joyful, it's not happy. It's this like tight, contracted space in your body. And imagine what that actually does to the cells of your body. And, like we know this. I mean, we know this from science. I mean, I know that I've studied it as a nurse. Like, stress literally changes the shape of your cells, and it changes what's happening hormonally in your body. So, when you can often catch yourself when you're stressed or when you're judging in this, your body contracts and tightens and bends. And, especially since we're talking about changing your body, if you would like your body to be different, can you invite it to a space of of fun and excitement and lightness if you're in this place of contraction and judgment and like, oh, this like bent up body with the cells that are changing a different shape? Like, how do you get your body to something expansive and fun when you're in that state of judgment?
Yeah, and Petrina, it's even like one step further, because that's even just with our thoughts. Because what sort of shows up after we have that thought is, anger, frustration, disappointment, like all of the emotions that go along with, it should have changed by now. I should have been able to change this. This is the same thing. How long has it been this way? I've got to fix this. All of those actually like lock it in more
to
the body.
Because if we go back to that idea of your point of view creates your reality, and like, if your body is created moment to moment by your point of view, then all of those points of view, like what you just said, like what's wrong, is this changing, it should have changed by now. That's what we're creating our body as. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. Why isn't it changing? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Yes. And so then that's what we're creating in our body. We're creating more no change, more wrongness, more contraction. It's not the place to create change. Cool. All right. Well, it's time for another break. So you're listening to Messy Adventures in Living. I am here with my guest, Susan Schatzer. We are talking about springing out of hiding your body. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do you wait until all the traffic lights are green before you get in your car? Of course you don't. Are you waiting until you have everything perfect to begin living? Most of us have learned not to take any steps until we have all the information to make the right choice. What if the opposite is true? What if it's choice that creates awareness? Are you willing to make lots of messy choices so you can begin to see the possibilities that you didn't even think existed? Listen for Messy Adventures in Living radio show with self-declared messy living expert Petrina Fava every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific on A2Zen.fm. How much more expansive would your life be if you were willing to get messy with your choices?
Do you know a child who is frustrated and disruptive in class, who struggles to connect, who's bright but still not making the grade? Have you ever wished that there were a kinder, gentler way to support children with difficulties in school or at home? Many children find access bars is benefiting them greatly. A study is being conducted to document findings in an effort to assist kids everywhere with these life-changing benefits. Will you donate and help to assist kids thrive? Visit www.accessyourbrilliance.com to support our study. What else is possible for kids now more than ever?
You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with Petrina Fava. To participate in today's show, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 033-0001-0625. Or you can Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also ask questions or comment by email by sending to Petrina at petrinafava.com. Now, here's Petrina with more messy adventures.
Welcome back. You're listening to Messy Adventures in Living with myself, your host, Petrina Fava, and my guest today, Susan Schatzer. We are talking about springing out of hiding your body. So before we went to break, we were talking about why do we judge our bodies, and Susan asked me why we were judging our bodies, and I talked a little bit about how two things. A is that judgment is so normal for us in this reality, and we've grown up actually learning to judge, and in many ways we've learned that judgment is helpful, that judgment is good, and that judgment can motivate you to change, and many times we use judgment as motivation. I know I have for sure. That is the way I have always thought I would change something about myself that I didn't like. And if I judged myself harshly enough, that I could change it. And I just had a thought about how once somebody told me that if I wanted to lose weight, I should stick a picture of myself naked on the refrigerator so that every time I go to eat, I can be reminded of what my body looks like naked and wouldn't eat. Isn't that crazy? Have you guys ever heard anything like that? Stick a picture of your fat self on the fridge so that when you go to eat that donut, you'll be like, oh, I can't eat that donut because look at me. What? Come on. And you know what? Like,
how'd that work for you?
It didn't. It did not work at all. Actually, I took the picture down because I was like, this is ridiculous. But, you know,
it's abuse.
Yeah, it is actually, I think, thank you. It is abuse to your body. Yeah, that is abuse to your body. And it's so absolutely not honoring. And yeah, it's abuse to your body. So like, you know, what else is possible besides beating up our bodies with judgments? And I think someone told me once, like, oh, but I judged, somebody who was a dancer said to me, like, if I didn't judge myself, I would have never made it to where I am today. And I looked at that and I was like, okay, so what is that? Because there might be people who are saying, well, I judged and it worked. But, you know, I think what I'm aware of is, you know, what actually got created. Like maybe you lost the weight, or maybe you turned into the dancer you wanted to be. But how much are you actually cutting yourself off to fit into some box that this reality has defined as the right way to be, right? Like if you're judging yourself out of being fat and you lose weight, and then your body is the ideal that this reality perpetrates as beautiful, what is that? Like, have you actually created your body as greater, or have you just bent and folded and mutilated yourself to shove yourself into this box that's defined as beautiful in this reality? Or like, have you actually made yourself into this dancer that's defined in this reality as a great dancer? Have you actually created yourself as greater, or have you just bent so much that you fit now into this box? Challenge
and
that
how much,
point of view.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Sorry.
Like, how much stress does that actually create, Petrina?
Right.
And is there any joy at all in doing that, in choosing that, right? So
yeah,
how much of that is actually hurting the body ultimately?
Mm-hmm. Right. Like, how much is it hurting the body for you to you know, do what it takes to become the perfect dancer? And is that actually creating stress on your joints? And, you know, like, how much physical stress does it create in your body? Yeah, I mean, I just would challenge anyone who has that point of view to really look at, maybe you achieved that thing that you thought was the right outcome, but what did it actually create for you? Yeah. So in the chat room, while we were at break, where is it? Eleanor was talking about, mirrors, picking up judgments in fitting rooms. So have you ever had this, right? Like, have you ever had this experience where you go to the fitting room and you're like, why, like, how much, there's something about fitting room mirrors that is just so uncomfortable. And I almost feel like, do they make these mirrors, like, especially so that I look worse? Like, what is going on? Have you ever had that, Susan?
Yeah, what are we blaming on? It's the lighting. It's the lighting of the room.
Yeah.
All the extra clothing. They probably have a camera here that's watching me.
Exactly. So, you know what it is? It's judgment.
What is it?
Because it's judgments. Those mirrors are loaded with judgments. Think about how many people go through that fitting room every day, put themselves in the mirror and judge themselves. Those judgments are held in that mirror. All the projections of I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm wrinkly, I'm saggy, I'm not good enough are projected into that mirror. And, you know, if we go back to the idea that we're actually very aware of other people's thoughts and feelings and emotions, what happens when we step into that change room? A change room is like a judgment chamber. It's like a
Like that's
judgment
what gets
chamber.
projected on us when we look at it. It's like mirror, mirror on the wall.
Right, exactly. I
It's
mean,
the
what else is
ugliest
it?
of all.
Yeah. And how much, we could use mirrors to admire ourselves, but how much do we use mirrors to judge the crap out of ourselves instead?
Mhm.
Yeah, totally. Wow. So what else do you want to know, Susan?
Well, I would love to know a little bit more about what we can do that will shift and change.
So you know what? Actually, I'm going to talk about something that I've been doing, and I don't know if this is going to work for everybody, but because like I said, that for me it's been weight, and I've gained a lot of weight over the last few years, and I've been very uncomfortable with it. And so anytime I go to a change room, especially, I was doing this thing where I would like not look at my body. So I would like take my clothes off and then turn and then put the, article of clothing that I was trying on and then turn back to the mirror because I did not want to see my body. Because anytime I looked at it, I would go, I can't believe that's my body. Like, I can't believe that my body looks like this now. And I kept, and I had this reference point of what my body looked like before. And finally one day, and I realized how much this is resistance, right? So with the idea that whatever we resist persists, I was completely resisting looking at my body in the mirror with no clothes on. And I was also actually resisting the idea of being fat. Okay? And so what I started to do was look at myself in the mirror and actually say, okay, I'm a fat girl. And it was not the same energy of judgment. It was an energy of lowering my barriers to that thing that I was resisting so much. So we do this a lot in Access. Like, we look at that thing that we so much don't want to be, and we know that the more fierce we don't want to be it, the more we're creating it. So one of the things you can do is look at that thing that you don't want and lower your barriers and actually be willing to be it. So even if it's something totally different, like if you're resisting being a bitch, or you're resisting being, I don't know, like whatever. If you're resisting being a bitch because you want to be a nice girl, go into being a bitch and actually be willing to be it. So in this case, what I've done, and it's really uncomfortable, is look at myself in the mirror, allow myself to look at myself and be like, okay, I'm a fat girl. And please understand, like, it's not the same as judgment. It's lowering of barriers and being completely vulnerable and being willing to be that thing that I've so much resisted. And you might say, okay, well, what's the point of that? But when you are willing to be that thing that you're so much resisting, then that's the space that can allow it to change. Yeah. Rhonda in the chat room, are you really a fat girl? Or are you simply carrying excess fat? Yeah, I mean, yes. But I think, though, is that I had such a judgment about being a fat girl. Like, there was something about that for me that I was resisting so much that it was actually in saying it like that allowed me to almost release it, because I had such a judgment about, being a fat girl. So interesting. So, I mean, you can try that if you're resisting being old or you're resisting being wrinkly. What if you could actually allow yourself to be it? And it's different than accepting the fact that you have a body that's not contributing to you. So I also know that the excess weight that I'm carrying is not a contribution to me, because it's harder for me to play with my kids. It's harder for me to run up the stairs. It's not accepting, but allowance is looking at something with no point of view. So it's more allowance than it is acceptance. And when you're in a place of allowance, then you can ask for something to change. But when you're in a place of judgment, then it won't change. Does that sound crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, no, not at all. And how many of us actually get out of our bodies, step out of our bodies, and are looking at our bodies from the outside of it and not actually communicating with our bodies and asking, questions with our body, like including our body in our decisions, of our movement or food or clothing or pampering, of it, and how much of that, in honoring of it would shift and change things.
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of that's something that you can do too to change it, is ask your body, what would you like to wear? So, maybe you think your arms are really big and you don't want to expose your arms, so you only wear a t-shirt with sleeves, like you won't wear a halter top. And or you think your thighs are really big, so you'll wear capri pants but not shorts. But those are all like what you just said, looking from the outside in. So first of all, whose judgments are those anyways? Who does that even belong to? Does your body enjoy wearing a little bit of clothing? Does your body like being outside with very little clothing? Does it like the feeling of the wind on its skin? Does it like the feeling of the sun on its skin? And what would happen if you honored your body by asking it what it would like to wear, and then getting rid of your judgments and going out with the tank top and the short shorts and allowing your body to enjoy what that feels like? Could that be another way to create change in your body, to invite your body to change, if that's what you desire? There's something to be said about, going outside and being in nature with your skin exposed and allowing your body to enjoy that. It's such a dishonoring to continue to cover up your body all the time, or to wear, ill-fitting clothes. Even how much do we try and how much do we hang on to our smaller size clothes in the hopes that we're going to wear them one day, right? It's so dishonoring of our bodies. What if you could actually ditch the skinny clothes and then go out and choose clothes that fit? Because you know what, I don't know about you, but I look around and I look at women of various body shapes, and I don't judge them. I look at other women's bodies and I go, wow, everybody's body is different and everybody's body is beautiful, and I get that. But then I see that I'm not able to apply that to myself. So that's where the whole tool of, is this really mine? Who does this belong to? Comes in. Because is that point of view really mine? I'm able to look and appreciate other people's bodies and acknowledge that bodies are beautiful no matter what they look like. Then when I judge myself, is that even mine? Or am I picking up on other people judging themselves? And how often have I watched, or how often have we looked at women who are a size that's not, the standard, this reality, right size to be? And can you tell the difference when somebody is totally owning it and acknowledging and very comfortable in their body, and they're standing tall and they're strutting their stuff and they're wearing clothing that totally jives with their body, and you can see that their body loves how it's dressed, and they walk and they're like, wow, she's a big girl and she's sexy as hell. So, I know that it's not about what your body looks like. I know that it's about what you be and how you be with your body. So, how much would asking your body what it would like to wear and choosing clothing that your body loves wearing and standing tall and strutting your stuff, how does that change everything? Because that's really what it's about. It's not about what it looks like. It's more about what you're being when you're in your body, the energy that you're exuding, the confidence, the standing up tall. People know when you're in love with your body. People can see when you're grateful for your body and you're standing tall and you're strutting your stuff. So I would encourage people to try that and and to push past the discomfort. I'll give you want to hear a funny example? Funny example.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So yesterday I went out to I went out in the morning with my daughter somewhere that I knew I wasn't going to take off my jacket, and I was in a rush. So I threw on a white t-shirt on top of a bra that was not like that nude color. It was like just slightly pink on top of a white t-shirt. And I kind of for a second I was like, oh, I don't think this bra is going to show through. But I was like, whatever, I'm not taking off my jacket. I just threw my jacket on, and I went. And I came home, and my husband said, let's go out for lunch. And I said, okay. And he said, don't even get out of the car. Like, just pull up, and we'll hop in the car. And I said, okay. And so we did that, and we went out to lunch. And then I took my jacket off, and I was like, oh, shit. I'm wearing a white shirt with, like, this, like, light pink bra underneath. It wasn't whatever. And then I was like, whatever, I took off my jacket. I'm like, oh, I'll just sit here, like, at the booth. Nobody will notice. My husband can stare at my bra through my shirt. I'm sure he'll like that. And then my kids are like, Mommy, we have to go to the bathroom. And I'm going to have to walk across the restaurant. And I was with this, like, my bra showing through my white T-shirt. But you know what? I actually was really, what I did was I was aware that it was uncomfortable. And I was also aware that if I shrunk and I bent over, that I would draw more attention, and that I would ooze judgment. Like, I would ooze that, and people would pick that up off of me. And so I was like, okay, Petrina, like, this is going to be uncomfortable, but you need to stand tall and stick out your breasts and be willing for everybody to look at your pink bra through your white shirt. And that's what I did. And you know what? Like, it's a example, but it could be a really great exercise in being willing to receive judgment, and B, practicing standing tall, and no matter what you think you look like, or no matter how much you're judging, because probably nobody even noticed my bra anyways. Oh my God, it's the end of the hour. When did that happen? Okay, 4 minutes. So tell us, Susan, please tell us more about the series and how people can join us.
Okay, so the Conscious Birthing and Beyond series, they can find us in two different places. One, they can go to Spring into the Creation of Your New Future on Facebook. That is the event page. There they'll be able to find all the information about signing up for the free introduction that's taking place tonight, where all of the 7 guest speakers will get to pop on and talk about their call and what the benefits will be, what people will get out of it. We are giving away the entire series, all of them, for anyone who does register for the series. You will get all of fall's replays, all of spring's replays, all of summer's replays, all of winter's replays. Yeah, so every time someone jumps on, and gets started, we give away all of the replays so everyone can catch up and get every single. I know.
That is
There's
amazing.
like 15 calls.
That's great, and they're great calls, you guys. Really, I mean, and also like what I want people to get is that you don't have to be a woman thinking about birthing. Like, this is birthing on a very broad level. Anyone can listen to these calls and get a lot out of them. Yeah,
it originally started to be just for women who were trying to get pregnant, who were pregnant, and who were giving birth. And after that first series, it has like superseded like anything we could have thought of, because birthing literally is birthing anything in your life, a relationship. Like today we're talking about birthing a new body.
Right. Yeah.
Business,
and generating
anything.
And creating. Awesome. That's great. Very cool. Well, so what else is possible is with springing out of hiding your body, and what would it be like if you were willing to embrace and be grateful for your body exactly the way it is? How much change and how much expansiveness could you create with your body? So thank you, Susan, so much for joining me today on Messy Adventures in Living. I look forward to playing with you soon.
Thank you, Petrina.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Please join us again next week, Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern, on Messy Adventures. Have so much fun jumping into your life, mess and all. Goodbye.
Thanks for playing with us on Messy Adventures in Living. Petrina Fava will return next Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Mountain, and 6 a.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We'd love to have you join us again. Until then, have fun creating your phenomenal life, mess and all.